Good evening and welcome to the High Performance Show with me, Kamir Arjun, where we showcase ordinary South Africans under 30 living extraordinary lives. Today's special guest is Lourens van Niekerk, a mathematics whiz with a profound fascination for maths since an early age. He has, since his school days, represented South Africa as part of the Olympiad team for mathematics, as well as winning the Harmony Junior Maths Olympiad in 2012. In Stellenbosch University, Lourens went on to graduate with his bachelor's and honors in mathematics, cum laude, and is now currently studying in the University of Göttingen, his master's in mathematics. Lourens, welcome to our show and thank you so much for being here.
I am glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Kamir.
No, thanks. So Lourens, please tell us your journey about maths. How did it all begin? Where did this fascination come from?
So the story starts very humble in that my granddad, he's my namesake. His name is also Lourens. And so as a young kid, as a 5-year-old, I am looking up to this grand wizard-like smart man that shares my name, and I'm thinking, oh, I want to be just like this man. What does he do? Oh, he used to be a maths teacher. I want to be a maths person then as well and be just as smart as this old man called Lourens. And so from a very young age, I was fascinated to try and be like him. I was very eager on mathematics. I just wanted to know more and more about it. And then my first lucky break in mathematics came in 2009. There's a competition which happens in Hong Kong every year around July that grade 7 children or 13-year-olds go towards. And so I found out about this in 2009. I applied for it and wrote the entry-level tests for the Free State team. I made the team. And in that time period leading up towards July, those 6-7 months of training, they take normal grade 7 kids and teach them up into grade 10 level maths. So it's almost 3 years of maths compounded into or compressed into 6 months. So there my age started. This continued in grade 9 when I won the competition, as Kamir mentioned. That same year, I went to Taiwan for mathematics. The following year, I went to Bulgaria for mathematics, every time representing the Free State / North Cape province team, particularly in Bulgaria in 2013. Of all the African teams, so all the South African teams, as well as the Nigerian, Egyptian, all the other teams from Africa, I performed the best of all the African teams. So that was quite an accomplishment for me as well. Yeah. And then I had the honor of, in 2018, being part of the Stellenbosch University team as well, once again going to Bulgaria for all these different competitions and getting an honorable mention at that competition as well. And now the snowball just keeps going with my mathematics. I finished my bachelor's honors at Stellenbosch in December 2020. I applied towards numerous universities in Germany. Germany, as some might know, is the epicenter of mathematics in history. All the mathematics in history comes from Germany pretty much up until 1940s. And so I applied here. I got accepted at the University of Göttingen, which is one of the best universities in the world, and I am now pursuing my master's here and enjoying it very much.
That's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. It's as if you've seen the world through mathematics. With maths, you've then journeyed on this path. And my question then would be to you is, how has mathematics shaped your outlook on life?
So the particular thing in mathematics that draws me is pattern recognition. And so what this has enabled me is to see patterns in various different environments from which I can derive beauty or financial financial ability or other pros that I can take from it. So recognizing patterns in nature, that comes to me in the form of beauty and appreciation for nature and Mother Earth. I can see patterns in people's emotional reaction or conversation, and so I can, it might sound cold, but in a mathematical way, kind of get to understand the patterns that led through that, why someone is acting like that. I can recognize the patterns in the stock market with stock trading, and recognize there the opportunity for buying or selling stocks and potentially making money there. And in these various ways, it has helped me in that way in life. And so pattern recognition is the key point in all of this for me.
I also know that you are very much into philosophy and, understanding those finer things in life. So would you equate your passion for mathematics as an art that you just want to constantly refine? Or do you believe that you will forever be a student of this wonderful field of knowledge called mathematics?
I actually do not think I will be, in that sense, a forever mathematician to that extent. What I mean by that is I don't see myself going into research. Maybe in the future I will acquire my PhD, but I am much more of an applicable person right now. I can say for myself that once you reach the mathematical level, which I am at with masters and much more with PhD, things become extremely abstract and almost a different world beyond the mental capacity really to visualize. Something which most people think of geometry as you can visualize it, you can draw triangles and circles on a piece of paper. But when you get to what I am doing, for example, right now in my courses, which is algebraic geometry, these are things on a dimension bigger than what the mental capacity can comprehend. And so I'm shifting that towards the trading side. Where the philosophy comes in is that it through researching mathematics and great mathematicians from history, it's very often found that the great mathematicians were also great philosophers, and vice versa. Great philosophers, great mathematicians. Pythagoras, for example, as well as he's known for the Pythagorean theorem for triangles.
Yes.
He also was a philosopher, and his philosophy was that there's like a grand equation that dominates the universe, and everything's made out of numbers. And same with Descartes, who created the Cartesian plane, where the real numbers x and y come from. René Descartes famously said "cogito ergo sum," which means "I think, therefore I am," which is a grand philosophical concept of itself. And so I naturally started thinking, all right, well, mathematicians tend to be philosophers as well. I should learn more about this. And so I've read many philosophical books in that way, and gained what knowledge I have, however much that is, about philosophy as well.
And do you feel that your journey on this path with mathematics is similar to another mathematician's, or have you found a completely different meaning in mathematics? And I mean this in the context of not only with your colleagues whom you study with in terms of your masters now and in the journey, but also when you competed on the international level for Olympiads. Did you feel that everyone had a similar kind of relationship with the subject in the field, or was yours just abstract compared to their journey, if you ever spoke about it?
I would say there's many more mathematicians, if we're thinking relatively in terms of how finite you look at the comparison between people, like how big you classify that. I'd say there's many people that are like me. There's various versions of mathematicians. You get the mathematicians that are living, breathing mathematicians, read math books all day long. And I would view that as an imbalanced life. They're unbalanced on the social side or the physical fitness side, and they just live for maths, but they enjoy it, so good for them. You got the mathematicians that live more a balanced life, where they do their financing, they do their work, they have a big friends group, they're extroverted probably, and more balanced, and don't think about maths as often. I lie more towards the latter group, where a balanced life is more important. And so initially, I was actually thinking that I am on my own path here, because where I come from in Kimberley, in the center of South Africa, there was no one that was doing the mathematics that I was doing. Pretty much no one in my school had done this. That was of my close age group. There was someone 11 years prior who became my supervisor actually for my honors, who had done it from my high school. But no one that I knew was of this level. And it took me to go to these international competitions to actually find that there's people like me who try to live a balanced life, who still think about mathematics all the times, but who don't live and breathe and just read mathematics and nothing else other than that. And so I built these global connections of mathematicians who think like me, and also take what they have and go out into the world and want to become traders, economists, astronomers, something other than just pure mathematics.
Brilliant. So, I mean, on that note, your life in this field of mathematics we could call it a metaphor for this great balance that you're trying to achieve. And I know you spoke about the two groups, the balanced people and the unbalanced people. So for you, you said you gravitate towards balance. What does balance mean in your life then?
Balance in my life would be there's I think it was 6 categories that me and Kamir got to know at our time in university, where it's economics, mental, emotional, financial, academics, and I think physical. And so balancing those 6 aspects is the key portion to it. There's actually 2 concepts here, which I try to keep the balance of all of them. The first is these 6 that I mentioned, where it's the academic, so study very hard, study smart as well. The financial, make sure you have passive income, potentially have a job, at least a part-time job, or try to get internships. Social, everyone needs to have a social life, family and friends, very important. Emotional, keeping your balance, that comes with also reflecting about how you act. Could you have acted better with someone else? Reading maybe a psychology book, listening to psychologists various ways. Same with the mental. And then what's the last one? Fitness. Doing your fitness, working out at least 3 times a week. I run, I do calisthenics. I try and do that at least 3 times a week and balance it out. So that's very important to me. Balance is the saying that I like to share is everything in balance, including balance, meaning that sometimes you need to be unbalanced for a short while, then get back to balance eventually. That's the one side of balance. I'll actually mention as well, there's a different balancing concept, which I also do appreciate that I constructed. I call it the 4 pillars, as grandiose as that might sound. The 4 pillars for life is you have mathematics, psychology, philosophy, and art. And so mathematics is your way of understanding the universe. Psychology is your way of understanding humans and animals, potentially, but humans. You have philosophy to understand ideas and concepts. And you have art to understand beauty. And so these 4 I find is a particularly good way to broaden how you view life and the different ways in which you want to improve yourself.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that sort of draws on the framework for the Renaissance period in history. That was the period of the rebirth, and people were exploring the arts and the sciences and really digging into that. And Mr. Leonardo da Vinci, he was quite key in that. And if you look at all his works, it combined maths with philosophy, with natural sciences. And
exactly.
I mean, it was such a great period where that's exactly what it was on. It was about understanding the human self in terms of the mind, the body, the soul, how humans fit in, not only in their social environment, but in terms of the world, as well as in terms of the universe. So that's really, it's really quite amazing to see how, you've also stumbled upon that in your journey through life. It's something I discovered while doing my ultra marathons, but it's two completely different journeys, but we sort of got onto the same wavelength eventually. So I find it really fascinating, And
yes, you need to know where you fit in yourself, in the community, and in the universe.
100%. And I always emphasize to whoever I mentor or whenever I speak at an event, it's you understand yourself. Have to work on self-mastery first before you can project that energy outwards. I always believe in that. And it's like you said, we have to align mind, body, soul towards your passion and purpose. And then from there, you can take it forward. And if that's not sort of discovered first, then you don't know which direction to move in life. It's kind of abstract, but it's one of those essential things we have to figure out as people.
I agree, though. I agree full-heartedly with what you've said, yes.
It's one of those deeper meanings of life, I suppose, isn't it?
Indeed.
And in terms of all of this now, right? You've gone through a lot. You've gone through this massive journey. So what life lessons have you learned? I'd say maybe what were the top 3 life lessons you learned from your whole journey so far?
Top 3 life lessons, let's see.
Lots of lessons, I suppose.
I would say one lesson would definitely be orient yourself towards something. You need to have a definite defined goal that you work towards, but you need not be like stubborn in it. Let's use that word. You need to have a goal, and as you go towards that goal, you need to be open enough to realize that this isn't exactly the goal that you want, and then realign yourself towards a new goal. And you will keep ricocheting like this around until you find potentially a final goal. That final goal could be just the last goal that you reached before death. That sounds a bit morbid, but it could also be finally the goal of what your true passion in life is, and what you could almost say your purpose in life is. So orient yourself towards something that's very important. I would say keeping balance. This is what I mentioned earlier, so I don't think I need to elaborate. Balance is extremely key. Also in diet, by the way, keeping a balanced diet ties into the fitness side. Keeping your health balanced and all that. And then a third one, I would say always be eager to learn. And this ties into every aspect of not just academically and maybe reading books, but more general. Like you need to talk to people with the idea that there's something they know that you need to know. Like you're not aware of it yet. So if you disagree with someone, actually listen more curiously, because it's very strange that you're thinking differently from them. You can't just throw it away as though they're immediately wrong. And to really listen to people, because there might just be something you need to learn, which could have a resounding effect on you. The butterfly effect could play inside yourself, in your ideologies and ideas and opinions. So be open to learning from people, be open to learning from books, from your academics, be open to beauty in the world and in nature, because you can learn a lot of things just from observing, taking in the beauty of nature, maybe even crying if it's that powerful a beauty. You need to always want to learn and orient your you could say mind, body, and soul towards always learning.
That's fantastic, because I agree 100% on the points you raised. And, in all my years of working with high performance people and interacting with them, I think the stereotypical image of a high performer you'd think is a one-dimensional workaholic who's obsessed with what they do. But it's really not the case. Every single high performer that I know has always put balance first and have put their health first, because they know that the healthier you are mentally, physically, and spiritually, emotionally, the more you can achieve in this world. And there's absolutely no point in being one-dimensional, burnt out, and unhealthy, and then trying to achieve anything, because you'll always have a bottleneck in terms of your personal productivity and a limiting factor. In terms of economics, let's just say the limiting factor would be themselves. But if you keep on, because life is it's such a journey and it's dynamic, you've got to make sure that you're in the best possible condition to navigate it. And
Exactly.
And every single one of them have always emphasized that to take care of their health is their wealth, right? Anything material that follows them is just an added bonus as part of life. And it's a sort of simple philosophy that they all believe in, that material things come and go. But ultimately, when you look back on your life, it's about memories, experiences. Those are the things money can't often buy. So
Exactly.
I really like your sentiments about focusing on balance and your health and being open to learn, because again, people attain mastery at such a quick pace if they're keen to learn and they don't see it as a chore. And well, thank you so much, Lourens, for that. Like I said, I really enjoyed those 3 points. So, that'll bring me on to my last point. If there's someone out here, one of our viewers, who has been inspired by your story, who also shares a similar love for mathematics and wants to continue on their journey, just like how you are doing, what advice could you give them, as well as to anyone listening, about this particular mathematics journey and just in terms of life, as some final words?
Right. Well, I guess it depends on the age of the person listening. Can I assume
students, young adults?
Young adults. All right, students, bachelor students, master students, so on. All right, I would recommend stick to the path of mathematics. It is wonderful. Mathematics opens so many doors, and mathematics is at the backbone of most of the businesses, the same way that computer science is being seen as the backbone of most businesses. If you have computer science, you have a foot in the door at any place. The same applies with mathematics, but it is very important to orient the mathematics towards another passion. Mathematics is beautiful in its own way for research, but if you want to do a job which isn't research, because everyone, of course, needs to finance themselves, take note of another passion in your life. You can love mathematics, but if you don't love it enough to research it, then have a second one and orient it towards that, and you will find a way to turn that into a financing opportunity, either as employmentship or as your own company that you start in due time. That can be anything. It can be medicine, can be astronomy. I'm orienting mine towards financial instruments, accounting, anything really. You can make games. Just orient the mathematics towards something which is employable, let's say.
All right. So sort of applying it to a field to make it useful, taking that knowledge, making it useful that someone can
Yes.
actually pay for your
If
skill.
mathematics is what you're studying currently as your academic profession, consider your hobbies, what you enjoy outside of your studies. And if that hobby you would potentially want to turn into something as well, see how you can melt mathematics and this hobby of yours together and how that can someday be employment for you as well.
All right. All right. Now we will hopefully our viewers who are inspired by your story and in the same boat in terms of mathematics take that to heart and can make the necessary adjustments to position themselves optimally for their future careers. So on that note, thank you very much, Lourens, for your time, and thank you to all our viewers for tuning into our show. We will put Lourens's social media details in the comment box below so that you can connect with him and follow his journey. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to continue to be inspired by other high performers.
Yes,
Until next time, cheers.
bye everyone.